Welcome back to another video on the channel, talking all things Qatar Open, and we have to start with the return of Roger Federer, who was back with a bang and looked like really never been away. A fantastic win in 3 sets against Dan Evans, who, to him credit as well, played a fantastic match. It really could have went either way. It was a match separated by a couple of points in the end. Federer did have a match point, which Evans saved with some fantastic tennis, but it was Federer that got over the line that third 7-5 after Evans played probably one of his worst games in the match at the biggest moment, which was a disappointing way to end. But just start off talking about Roger Federer, and I did say in my preview video and in a few weeks ago that I did expect Roger to return and be very, very good. I think at this stage of his career, you can't have 6 or 7 months practice play almost and just going out tournaments very early and not playing good tennis. I think at 39, you know, if he wasn't going to return in good form and able to compete and start winning titles very early, then I don't think he would have come back. But it was a fantastic comeback match from Roger Federer. He'd been off for, was it 405 days, 14 months, and he almost looked like he'd never been away at times. I mean, just looking at his overall game, I think his serve was fantastic. His touch around the net, his reading the play, um, just his overall timing and quality was there from ball one, and I think that's always going to be there with Roger. The quality that he's got and the natural ability. He could probably turn up in court in his 50s and still produce some wonderful tennis. And some of the backhands and winners and volleys that he plays just outrageously good. And you almost forget when watching him that he's been off for so long. He did have a couple of timing issues, on the forehand and the backhand, but obviously expected. He hasn't played competitive tennis for over 400 days. They'll be ironed out, I expect, within the next week or two. I think Roger will get pretty much up to speed and playing some of his best tennis very, very quickly, judging on today's performance. But overall, a perfect, perfect test for Roger Federer. 2 or 3 hours against Dan Evans. He had to work physically hard, he had to defend, to attack, vary his game up. He served fantastically well, he returned well, his touches around the net were brilliant, and he looked thoroughly enjoyable to watch, entertained the crowd, looked happy to be back. He got through the match unscathed. I think, a 10 out of 10 performance of Roger Federer, and can't dispute and forget about the performance of Dan Evans as well, who played fantastically well and played his part in what will be a brilliant match, one of the best matches of 2020, probably on the men's side. The quality throughout was fantastic. I think Evans mixed his up attacks very well, played some brilliant passing shots, hit lots of aces. And I think when Evans lengthened the rallies, I think he had the better of Federer. He probably timed the ball better from behind the baseline, and Federer did make quite a lot of unforced errors in the forehand and backhand side, which you can expect from a player that hasn't played for so long. But I think it was just a sign of how well Dan Evans has done in the past year or two and how well he's developing his game. He's capable of really challenging the top players now, particularly on hard courts. He's inside the world's top 30, and I think Dan Evans, the next aim has to be getting inside the top 20. Hopefully, have a good run at a Grand Slam and reach a quarter-final stage. If he could do that at Wimbledon, obviously even better being a Brit. But Evans' careers just go from strength to strength. He's a wonderful player to watch. He's got a great backhand slice, the backhand down the line, great first serve, very quick around the court, great defence, athleticism. And I think, Dan Evans is a fantastic watch, and he gave Federer a hell of a battle today. Came down to very fine margins in that deciding set. Evans had a couple of chances to break. Federer had a match point, a couple of chances to break, and I think a match deciding tie break probably would have been the fairest way to finish it. But Evans just his ground strokes just let him down a couple of times at 6-5, and Roger finished off with a wonderful backhand down the line to mark what was a fantastic return. But yeah, Roger marches on to the quarterfinals to face Basilashvili. Obviously, brilliant to have Federer back. Tennis tournaments aren't quite the same without Roger. And I also watched Dominic Thiem today against Aslan Karatsev, and this was a very interesting matchup because Karatsev is a player in brilliant form. The best form of his career. He's a baseline monster. He beats pretty much everybody at the Australian Open, reaching the semi-finals before losing out to Novak Djokovic. I always felt it was going to be a great test for Dominic Thiem, and I talked about it on Twitter today. The two biggest things that impressed me most about Dominic Thiem last year was his incredible consistent ball striking from the back of the court, and also his ability to produce his best in the biggest moments and win tie breaks and win tie sets, which are definitive in winning Grand Slams, which is what he done in 2020. That's very, very difficult to replicate. We've seen it with Nadal and Djokovic and Murray and Federer over the years, but I think it's important that we don't pile the pressure on Dominic Thiem and expect him to just do it as well. And that's why at the start of this year I did have questions surrounding Dominic Thiem. Could he keep up that level of performance? It's very, very tough. A couple of losses can completely kill your confidence and revert back to type and start making the same mistakes that he was at the start of his career. And I did worry from that Australian Open. I didn't think he played particularly well, especially in the Kyrgios match in the first couple of sets. I thought he was passive, not aggressive enough, and not doing what brought him so much success last year against Grigor Dimitrov. He didn't look to have that fight and belief and aggressive tennis again that again brought him so much success last year, and it was a very resounding win for Grigor Dimitrov. To see Dominic Thiem losing straight sets in a hardcore Grand Slam was very surprising and disappointing on his behalf. I'm pleased that he has taken a break, and today he did look back somewhere near his best. I think it was a good test from Karatsev, who's a very solid baseline player, and Thiem had to play some of his best tennis to overcome that. I think Thiem today, he was more defensive and he concentrated on just making balls. I think looking to get that consistent ball striking back, perhaps not hitting as many winners and not attacking as much and not coming inside the baseline, which was seen him make errors at the Australian Open. I think back from behind the baseline when he was defending, he was moving Karatsev about, using his variations on the backhand slice, beginning to serve better in the second and third sets. I think Thiem was somewhere back near his best, but I do think he still has a long way to go if he is going to win another Grand Slam in 2021. But yeah, it was a good win for Dominic Thiem, definitely a confidence booster. He played some fantastic tennis, particularly in those second and third sets when he seemed to warm into the match. And he moves on to the quarter-final. Also, Andrei Rublev is in the quarterfinals, are actually playing a match. There's also Roberto Bautista Agut. Taylor Fritz got a fantastic win over David Goffin. So we've got a great last eight lineup in Doha, and I think it's been a fantastic event so far. Can't wait to see how Roger does, and mouth-watering potential clash against Dominic Thiem coming up in I think it'll be semi-final or final. Also got Andrei Rublev, who's on fire, won his last 5 ATP titles consecutively. So a great lineup in Doha, and I think we'll get some fantastic matches from here on in. So yeah, thanks for watching another video. Do leave your predictions for who will win this event in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video, that's much appreciated, and also subscribe. I will be bringing lots more videos out throughout this tournament, and obviously next month moving on to the clay court season and the French Open. There's lots more content coming on the channel. So if you are interested in listening to any of that, do subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.